Hey, it's Eileen from Teach with ND, and today I want to talk to you about how teachers can use Speechify for meeting prep. If you feel at all like I did when I was in the classroom, you feel like you're always running late with regards to reading the required reading, whether that's an email that you're trying to skim before the meeting or a packet of information you're supposed to look at, and our struggles with things like time blindness make it that much harder to be able to realistically plan for the reading that we want to do. And even with all of the best intentions and understanding the reasoning behind, for the most part, why we were supposed to be reading this, the fact is that for a lot of us, our executive functions make it that much more challenging to tackle reading, especially if it's a long, dense text and maybe not delivered in the most entertaining way or engaging way. So whether it's a staff meeting that you're preparing for, or a meeting with your teammates, or a professional development seminar, there's a lot of instances as a teacher that you have a lot of information to try to get through in a very short amount of time. And often we're exhausted, quite frankly. So I want to talk to you about some ideas to help. There's lots of text-to-speech tools out there, but the one that I use and that I recommend is Speechify. And with that, you could easily take a photo of a document that you want to read, upload it to your mobile device, and listen to it on your commute to or from work. Also, if you happen to have the actual link handy for the document, you can copy and paste that into your app, and Speechify will be able to read that out loud for you too. A few reasons why this might help you if you have a neurodivergent brain as well is that it can be easier to start listening to something versus trying to force yourself to sit down and read something, especially if you have built up any kind of resistance or, unpleasant memories associated to reading. So that barrier to beginning is often lower when it's listening that you're talking about. Also, audio can be less overwhelming versus staring at a very dense page of text, especially if you struggle with dyslexia or other reading difficulties. And finally, a lot of us, including myself, retain more information and retain it to a better degree when we are, up and moving around a little bit as we are listening versus sitting still and reading or attempting to read a book. Some uses that you might consider using Speechify or your favorite text-to-speech tool are things like reviewing dense curriculum plans, like a yearly plan or a monthly plan in preparation for a meeting you might have with your teammates. You might get behind reading the newsletters that come out from your admin every week and realize that, you have a meeting that day and you haven't read it. You can listen to that while you're eating your lunch. And depending on what the data is, you should always check in with your tech integration specialist and admin. But depending on what the data is, if it's not considered sensitive, that would be another excellent use to upload data spreadsheets or the comments that people have attached to them. And depending on how well you feel like you could listen or how fast you could listen to the text being read to you. If you, for example, realize that you have a meeting tomorrow and you totally forgot about the required reading, and it's late at night, you could just get Speechify to read it extremely fast to you, and that could help you feel at least a little bit more prepared than versus having not read any of it. So with Speechify, you can use a pretty basic workflow. So first, you could snap a photo of the handout. You would open up your Speechify app on your phone. You could pick the voice. If you have a premium account, you have a little bit more variety of voices that you can choose to listen to. And you could pick the speed that you want to listen to and then start listening. I have another post where I talk about the cool feature of the Speechify AI podcast, which is another really fun way that you can make your reading a little bit more engaging. And with that, you can also create a quiz for yourself to test your knowledge of what you were attempting to learn. All right, well, I hope this helps, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.